Welcome to this week's edition of Utopia Football Insider. Filling in for Oren Sheary is my other co-host from Under the Bleachers, William Yanish, and we've got 16 games we're going to break down for Week 17. I will be promoting this later tonight as soon as the Monday night game ends because I got a lot on my plate at the moment, but we'll start with the Chiefs-Steelers game for Week 17. It is Kansas City. It is Pittsburgh. Warren was kind enough to put the thumbnail together for this one. You got Trent McDuffie on the Chiefs. He has 11 deflections on the year. And then you got TJ Watt, who has 11 sacks, as well as a league best 6 forced fumbles. I am picking the Steelers to upset the Chiefs here on Christmas. But the Chiefs can lock up the 1 seed. But I've got the Steelers pulling out a narrow 21-20 upset win on Christmas.
Yeah, I definitely like that upset. I'll definitely take the Steelers as well, about 27-17. You know, I just hate them effing Chiefs.
I'm pretty certain most of our staff is going to end up picking the Chiefs to win, and the Chiefs can clinch home field. But again, the NFL is going to want drama because the Chiefs are going to rest their starters in Week 18 if they win this game. So from a drama standpoint and from let's have home field locked up in Week 18 so nobody rests their starters standpoint. This is going to be one of those rare games where the officiating is not biased towards the Chiefs. It's rather neutral for the first 3 quarters, and then maybe the Steelers get a call or two their way in the 4th quarter so it looks less shady, less suspicious on the league's end. That's kind of how I see this going. It's going to be one of the cleaner officiating games, and I know fans have bitched about the Chiefs getting bailouts from the refs, but I think the Steelers win 21-20. Next up, it is the Ravens and Texans. This game in Baltimore, it's in Houston, not Baltimore, but I've got the Ravens winning 27-19 over the Texans. The Ravens, they finally showed they could play competent defensively. They made the proper adjustments during the bye week. Lamar Jackson, Zay Flowers, Mark Andrews. Texans don't have Tank Dell for the rest of the year. He's been ruled out for the year. They don't have Diggs. They're going to have to rely on Nico Collins and some backup receivers to step up. I think that's going to be the Achilles heel for the Texans. They'll still win the division, but whoever they play in the wild card, whether it's the Chargers, the Steelers, or the Ravens, is going to have a major advantage, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'll definitely take the Ravens as well, but about 31-19.
Interesting. Our scores are similar. Thursday night game is Seattle and Chicago. The Bears are favorites. Even though they've been eliminated from the playoffs, they are favorites to win this game on Amazon Prime. I don't know why they're favorites, and some of the point spreads are varying. And when I say that, I mean some point spreads have Seattle minus 1.5. Others have Chicago at minus 3.5. It's very confusing. It is a cluster F of epic proportions. But I'm going to take the Bears 20-16. I think Caleb Williams, he looked good against the Lions. I think Caleb Williams does enough to lead the Bears to a narrow win that sends Seattle packing. But I could also see Seattle winning this game because if Seattle wins this game, it sets up a Rams-Seahawks Week 18 game with the division on the line in Los Angeles.
Yeah, I definitely echo your Bears sentiment as well on this one. But 24-21, I guess I can't hate on Caleb Williams my entire life, right?
I mean, they look good against the Lions, so I think they can beat Seattle. Chargers and Patriots. Drake May looked great against Allen, except for the turnovers. I have the Patriots losing a close one, 20-16. Chargers are favored by 3 at the moment. I think the Chargers go into New England and win this game. It's an ugly defensive game, but the Chargers do just enough to win and cover. And the Patriots lose another heartbreaker.
Yeah, and I definitely watched that game with Josh Allen and Drake May, and May actually, I mean, he did look good, and that was a dime that he dropped to Kayshon Boutte. And but you know, even though he's my quarterback one last year and everything, I kind of have to take the Chargers, and I'll take 28-24.
If you're a Patriots fan, you should be encouraged. We're going to have the number 2 pick in the draft. The Giants are probably going to take Shedeur or Ward, whichever of those two they like the most at 1. And I think Elliott Wolf trades this pick to his former employer. He worked for John Dorsey in the Cleveland Browns. I do not think the Patriots are going to get 3 first-round picks for the number 2 pick, and that's probably what they're going to want if they pass on Travis Hunter. But the reality is they're not going to get that. I think the Browns will offer something very similar to what the Panthers offered the Bears for Bryce Young, William. I'm thinking 2 number 1s, 5 a 2026 first, a 2027 second, a 2025 fourth, and probably one of the players Elliott Wolf scouted during his time with the Browns under John Dorsey. And Dorsey drafted for the Browns in 2017 when they took David Njoku in the first round. He also drafted Denzel Ward, Baker Mayfield, Nick Chubb in 2018. So I'm thinking Denzel Ward or David Njoku will be the DJ Moore chess piece in that trade. But this Browns-Patriots trade will have the exact same framework as the Panthers-Bears trade. And it will be between the Patriots and Browns, because the Patriots, even if they move down to 5, they could still get one of the 2 left tackles, Will Campbell or Kelvin Banks. They could still get Abdul Carter out of Penn State. They could still get Will Johnson if they want to go corner and Hunter's off the board. So there's options there. Plus, they'd have 2 first-round picks in 2026. So
Yeah.
I think this just makes too much sense. And as much as the Patriots would like to get 3, if they can get 2 1s, a second, a fourth, and they can get Njoku or Denzel Ward, I think they're going to pull the trigger on that and make that trade. No worries, William. You're good.
Anyway, yeah, no, the Patriots have a lot of up and coming weapons. I mentioned, Kayshon Boutte, and they've got Javon Baker. Hunter Henry is Drake May's, number 1 receiver right now. So yeah, definitely.
But the number 2 tight end is Austin
those.
Hooper, and Hooper's going to be a free agent. So if you traded for Njoku, made Hooper the number 2 tight end, you could run a lot 12 personnel, not just on passing plays, but on running plays as well. Or if you traded for Denzel Ward, the other guy Elliott Wolf scouted, you'd have Christian Gonzalez and Denzel Ward as your number 1 and number 2 corners, and you could take the best edge or a left tackle at 5. So
yeah, that would be a
Browns
really good
Patriots trade makes way too much sense given Elliott Wolf's history with both the Patriots and the Browns.
For sure.
And they think they're guaranteed Cam Ward. They think the Patriots and Jaguars are going to stay put and that they're guaranteed Cam Ward. And that cockiness is going to come back to bite the Titans.
Yeah, for sure. And, definitely grabbing one of those top tackles, would definitely be, Drake May's best friend,
I think if you got Njoku, that package from the Browns, and you get a left tackle at 5, that is going to do wonders for Drake May as the young receivers in New England continue to develop. Very
much. And just him, like we mentioned, flashing, in that game. And it's one of those things that they've got a bright future, and it's going to be, sooner rather than later. As long as
look, if the Browns wanted to do a 27 first instead of a 26 first, I'd be okay with that, because frankly, the 2027 receiver draft is stronger than the 2026. There's as many as 8 first-round receivers in 2027. So if the Browns want to do 2027 one instead of a 2026 one, I'm okay with that. I'm flexible enough to where I'm okay with that. It will cause the rebuild to be delayed a little bit, but we'll get that long-term number 1 receiver if we take a 27 first instead of a 26 first. But I think it will be a 25 and 26 first. I think that'll be the framework of the Patriots-Browns trade. If they move down, it'll be almost identical to the Bryce Young Chicago trade, because I don't see a team giving up 3 number 1s for a quarterback in this draft, William.
Yeah, probably not.
Yeah.
I'm not sure that the value is completely there. You have to be completely sold on a quarterback to, ship off 3 firsts for him. So, yeah.
Yep. Next up, we have the Broncos and Bengals. It's Bo Nix versus Joe Burrow. I will likely be playing Jamar Chase in the Fantasy Football Championship. So, Patrick Surtain, I hope you have the best game of your career against Jamar Chase. But Chase has not been paid yet. Surtain has. There is a stronger drive, a stronger motivation on Chase's end. But this is going to be a fun one-on-one matchup here. I am picking the Bengals to win. I think they are the better team, and I've got them winning by double digits, 31-21. Look, I'm not the biggest Broncos fan, but Bo Nix is too talented to get less than 21 points on this Bengals defense, which has been atrocious all year. And I think the Bengals do their thing offensively, though, but they win by double digits, 31-21. Bengals are an 8-point favorite in Week 7.
Yeah, for real. And Bo Nix, I mean, I think he's going to have a little extra urgency under his belt, trying to put up some points, for the offensive rookie of the year. I mean, especially after what Jaden Daniels did yesterday. And but I will take the Broncos in the upset here. The Bengals are definitely the better team, but they're up and coming, and I can see Knicks having a good day against that defense. And I'll go 29-28.
Final Saturday game is the Cardinals at the Rams. I have the Cardinals winning 27-20. Kyler Murray looks like a politician when he told people he was going to get Trey McBride a touchdown and only targeted him 2 times for 9 yards. McBride was my starting tight end, but luckily I'm in the lead. But there are some other fantasy players that got screwed over by Kyler Murray's comments earlier this week. There's some Cardinals fans that are just fed up with Kyler Murray. They're done with him, but the problem is Kyler Murray's good enough to where he can get you out of quarterback draft position, but he's not good enough to get you to the playoffs. Well, he got to the playoffs once, but that was in his third year of his rookie deal, so he'd get the Bills, the payday. So there's not that driving force, that motivational factor. And I think the Cardinals are picking too high and too far behind in the draft to move on from Kyler Murray this year. So I think they will probably roll with Kyler Murray in 2025, because if they move on from Murray in 26 or 27, the cap hit won't be as bad. So I think the Cardinals lose this game, and I've got the Rams winning 27-20 by a touchdown over the Cardinals.
I like the Cardinals in this one, and it's not because of Kyler Murray. I definitely feel he is definitely overrated, and McBride is making him look better than he really is. And I mean, McBride is just the best.
Rams pass defense isn't that great. The Rams pass defense isn't that great, and this could be the McBride signature game. The other thing I've noticed with McBride is whenever he has a bad game in fantasy, he almost always rebounds with a 10-point game in fantasy. Yeah. That's the other thing I've noticed with McBride. So for those thinking about benching McBride, dope. Because this is probably going to be the week he pops off.
Yeah, and I'll take the Cardinals 33-31. But yeah, McBride, he's definitely been looking good this year, and has solidified himself as top 3.
The Jets take on the Bills in Buffalo. It's Aaron Rodgers versus Josh Allen in Buffalo late in the season, and I've got the Bills winning by 20, 34-14. I think Josh Allen gets back to his dominant form in this home game, because I'm not saying I don't think Allen's going to struggle. This is the home finale for the Bills in the regular season. I think Josh Allen wants to prove last week was a fluke, and I think he does, even though he's going up against a very good defense. So I will take the Bills 34-14. All their weapons are healthy now. Only player that's injured are the guys on defense. Matt Milano, Taylor Rapp, Rasul Douglas. Some of those guys should be back, though, in Week 17, but it'll be interesting to see what happens with the Bills injury report. But even if everything goes the Jets' way, I don't see them dropping more than 14 on the Bills.
Yeah, and I got Buffalo by 41-24, and that's just because Josh Allen is going off. And,
yeah, I had the Bills winning 28-14, and to be fair, I was pretty close in my score, but Allen had the touchdown at the end to make it a one-score game. And if the Patriots hadn't turned the ball over, that game could have gone very differently for the Bills this week. So next up, it is the Colts and the Giants. It's Anthony Richardson versus Drew Lock. Would be funny if Drew Lock had an Aiden O'Connell moment where he cost the Colts the #1 pick. I am picking the Colts to win, but I think this is going to be a low-scoring game, William. I'm going to go Colts 17, Giants 14. I'm taking the under. I think this is going to be a super low-scoring game between both teams in the cold at New York.
Yeah, I'll take the Giants in an upset, but it's definitely going to be low scoring. So I'll go something like 15-10.
I like that.
Bunch of
Next
field goals,
up,
man.
it is the Titans and Jaguars in Jacksonville. I'm going to go 21-16 Jaguars. I have more confidence in Mac Jones than I do Mason Rudolph, but it is very close. If the Titans had started Mason Rudolph when they played the Jaguars at home, I probably would have picked them to win. But they're in Jacksonville. I think the Jaguars handled business. They should have beaten the Raiders. They didn't. So I'm going to pick the Jaguars to win, but this is a big game because whoever loses this game, it moves into the number 3 spot behind the Patriots and the Giants. So because the Titans currently pick at 3, and the Jaguars currently pick at 3, and the Titans currently pick at 4. So whoever loses this game moves into the number 3 spot. Will control their own draft destiny.
I'll take the Jaguars in this one, 28-17. And yeah.
The Packers and the Vikings. I'm going to take Green Bay. I know Minnesota's been red hot. There was even a Vikings fan who photoshopped a picture of Sam Darnold lifting the Lombardi trophy. And this is how crazy it's gotten. The last time the Vikings were photoshopped in a picture with the Lombardi trophy, somebody leaked a Super Bowl banner leading up to Super Bowl 52 with the Patriots playing the Vikings. Somebody leaked the Super Bowl banner. I think it was NFL's social media handle. They leaked a Patriot-Vikings Super Bowl banner on the day of the conference title, and the Eagles ended up winning Super Bowl 52 because that banner got leaked. Now the Vikings Sam Darnold, Vince Lombardi trophy banner being leaked on Twitter. I'm going to take the Packers to beat the Vikings. I think they'll beat the Saints tonight. And I'm going to pick the Viking. I'm going to pick the Packers to beat the Vikings in this one.
I'll take Green Bay 31-27.
23-20 is my score. I've got the Packers barely winning by a field goal in a defensive game.
The Vikings can definitely win this game. I mean,
yeah, and if they do, it's going to set up a Lions-Vikings game for the 1 seed, most likely. Saints and Raiders in New Orleans. It's Spencer Rattler versus Aiden O'Connell. I'm going to take Rattler 21-17. Nate Hobbs, the Raiders' number 1 corner, is injured. I think this is the Rattler. I think this is the game. Look, if you don't have a quarterback for the fantasy football championships and you're in a super flex league like me, go ahead and pick up Spencer Rattler. The Raiders' number 1 corner, Nate Hobbs, is injured. He missed Week 16. I think Rattler is going to be a surprise breakout candidate. If you have 3 good QBs like me with Lamar, Mahomes, and Herbert, stay pat. But if you don't have a QB2 and Rattler's on the waiver wire, pick him up because I think Rattler could win you a championship if you don't have a good QB2 for next week's championship week with the Saints playing the Raiders. I think Rattler could be one of those sneaky dark horse players that leads you to a championship.
For real, I definitely like Spencer Rattler, and he's definitely going to get a little bit more comfortable back there, And I'll take him 19-17 over Aiden O'Connell and them.
Yep. The next game, it's the Panthers, it's the Buccaneers, it's in Tampa. Look, I am very glad somebody in my league dropped Chubba Hubbard. I picked him up off of waivers. And he was the reason I was able to get 32 points from him. Hubbard's a top 5 running back in rushing yards this year. I'm not saying he's a top 5 running back in the league, but in rushing yards just for this season, he's in the top 5. He's not as dominant as Barkley or Henry, but he's in that top 5. I would go Buccaneers 28, Panthers 14. I know the Panthers took Tampa to overtime last time around, but Baker Mayfield's coming off a loss to Dallas, and I think the Buccaneers are pissed, and I think they mean business. So I think the Bucs win by 2 touchdowns. Panthers still get 14 on Tampa's defense, though.
Great minds think alike. I was just writing down the score 29-14, and I'll take Tampa Bay definitely.
Yep.
I think Baker's, yeah.
The Dolphins play the Browns in Cleveland. I did initially have the Browns winning this game. Had it stayed on Sunday Night Football, I would have gone through with that, picked the Browns. But the Dolphins are still in the playoff race. Give me Tua. I have not really looked at the point spread or the betting percentages for the later games, but I'll look that up right now here just to see what's what, just to clear things up a little bit because, I mean, basically week 17 there's four games left. William and I only have to break down four more games. So as far as Dolphins Browns goes, this game, it 54% of the betting public's on the Browns, so the Dolphins do not have a majority of the betting action. And the Sports Dimers is saying Browns 22, Dolphins 21. They're saying 55% of the public's betting the over. So that means it's going to be a defensive game. If the over-under is 44.5, that means we're going to see about 43 or 44 points scored. Give me the Dolphins 24-20 over the Browns.
Yeah. I'll take the Dolphins 23-13.
All right. Next up, it is the Cowboys-Eagles. If Jalen Hurts is out this week in concussion protocol, please start Trey Lance. I would love to see a Trey Lance versus Kenny Pickett matchup. I know we're probably getting Cooper Rush versus Pickett or Hurts if he's cleared. But William, from an entertainment standpoint, I want to see Trey Lance versus Kenny Pickett.
Yeah.
I know we're not getting it, but from an entertainment standpoint, I think that'd be a hilarious way for the Cowboys-Eagles rivalry to close out this season.
It would. I'll take Dallas 24-23, just because it's a rivalry game and they always stay close. So
yeah, the Eagles are favored by 2.5, but I would imagine if Hurts can't play, the point spread from Eagles -2.5 is going to go down to maybe 1.5 or 1, maybe half point. But I would say I'm still going to pick the Eagles to win, but I'm a lot less confident about this game than any other game on the schedule right now. Falcons play the Commanders. It is Penix versus Jane Daniels, Sunday Night Football. Michael Penix, in most situations, I take the Commanders since they're the home team, and Jane Daniels looked incredible against the Eagles, rallying the Commanders back despite throwing 2 interceptions. But Michael Penix has a chip on his shoulder. Many people felt like Penix should have won the Heisman over Jane Daniels because Washington was undefeated. Jane Daniels did have the better numbers, better production, but Penix led Washington to an undefeated regular season, so many argued for Penix for that reason. So I think Penix wants to prove that he should have won the Heisman over Jane Daniels, and this is his chance. Give me the Falcons 35-34 to shoot out.
I'll take Atlanta. They definitely, they've got the majority of the weapons, and
in most cases, I take Washington, but this is a game where Penix actually has a chip on his shoulder when he's going on the road because Jane Daniels won the Heisman, but many felt like Penix should have won it last year. Same with Ginty this year, but I think that Penix is going to use that chip on his shoulder to lead Atlanta to a victory.
I'll take Atlanta 32-31, and more or less just, I like Penix more than I like Jaden Daniels. So I think that, like you said, he'll definitely want to go in there and win that game. So.
And then the final game is the Lions and the 49ers. I am picking the Lions to win this game. The 49ers mathematically eliminated from the playoffs. The Lions I did have the 49ers beating the Lions back in May, but things have changed now. This could be a trap game, though, at the same time. If the 49ers win and the Vikings lose, if the Lions and Vikings both lost, this game could still theoretically decide the number 1 seed, and all 3 teams would be 13-3. Lions, Vikings, and Eagles would all be 13-3 entering Week 18. So I'm going to pick the Lions, but I will not be surprised if the 49ers pull the upset. But I'm going to go 49ers are favored by 5.5. So if you pick the Niners to win, you're being spotted 5.5. You're being spotted 5 points if you pick the Lions to cover the spread. So the Lions are actually underdogs. I am going to pick the Lions to win, though. And I'm going to go with a low-scoring game. I'll go 23-17 Lions in overtime in a low-scoring game.
I can't root against San Francisco. I mean, they've done some, you know, had all kinds of injuries this year. Had all kinds of, different issues, and I'll take San Francisco, and I'm going to take them 31-27. I mean, I just don't see, uh, the Lions crawling out of that one. I mean, yeah. I'll take my boy Purdy in that.
Yeah,
At least, if we're gonna get, top 10, top 12 draft pick, I definitely
I
have some
do
ideas
have the
about who to
49ers
draft.
picking 13th in the draft. I have the card.
Yeah.
Basically, I've got the Cowboys, Cardinals, and 49ers all finishing at 7 and 10. But the Cowboys and Cardinals would have the tiebreaker for draft order based on strength of schedule. So, and the Cardinals would have 12 and the 49ers would have 13. Bears would be 5 and 12 at 9. Jets would be 5 and 12 at 8. The Saints 6 and 11. Panthers 4 and 13. Jaguars 4 and 13 if they beat the Titans and lose the Colts and Indy. Raiders 3 and 14 at 5. Browns 3 and 14 at 4. Titans 3 and 14 at 3 if they lose out. Patriots would be the team at 2 if they lose out. So that's kind of what I've got right now. And then the Giants at 2 and 15. But we'll see. There's 2 weeks left, and Oregon will be back for week 18. But, we got through this in 30 minutes, less than 30 minutes, actually, which is pretty good. And I know, William, you've got a place you got to be soon. So anything else you want to add before we sign off?
I guess not a whole
I guess
lot.
we
Just
can do our
tune
round
in
2 college football predictions. I know Orrin and I sometimes talk about college football on this show. So if you want, we can do our round 2 predictions because we may not have it under the Bleachers episode before the we may not have it under the Bleachers show before January 1st or New Year's Eve. So if you want, we can do our round 2 predictions for that here.
Yeah.
We're not going to go through our entire brackets again, but we can do our round 2 predictions here. And everybody, Joey and I picked, and William picked on Under the Bleachers 1. So I'm telling you guys, I've got the same winners. I'm taking Boise State over Penn State. Abdul Carter looked good, though. I had a 3rd-round grade on him. I still think wrapping up tackles is an issue with Carter, but, he can stop the run and rush the passer. I feel a lot more comfortable about drafting him in the 1st round, knowing he had 11 sacks. And, he's probably going to go in the top 5 now, but I'm not going to move him there. I want to see what he does against Ginty before I will move Carter into the 1st round, but I'm not going to give him a spot in the draft order until I see what he does against Ginty one-on-one. But I think Ginty's actually going to win this matchup. I'm taking Boise State 24-17 over Penn State. And Penn State's favored by 10.5. So if you take Boise, you're getting the points, and you're getting the points and the underdog. So
yeah, I'll take Penn State 24-13 over Boise State.
Texas plays Arizona State in the Peach Bowl on New Year's Day. I'm taking Texas. I think the Longhorns, they win this game and they punch their ticket to the semifinals.
Definitely. I've got Texas winning that one as well. It's probably not going to be as close as everyone thinks it's going to be. I'll say like 31-13.
I've got 35-14, but I could see Texas winning 56-14. That's how ugly I think this game could get.
Yeah.
But I'm not bold enough to pick the Longhorns to score 56 on Arizona State, which is why I'm going 35-14. But I could see as many as 56. All right. Next up, Buckeyes, Ducks, Rose Bowl, Big Ten rematch, with an old Big 12 versus Pac-12 theme to it. I'm going to take the Buckeyes. I know you picked Oregon to win it all, but I'm going to take the Buckeyes 28-27, another 1-point game between these two squads.
I'll take Oregon 35-29.
Next up, it is the final game. It is Notre Dame, Georgia. No Carson Beck. I am taking the Notre Dame Fighting Irish to upset Georgia. But if Georgia wins this game, I think whoever wins this game beats the Penn State-Boise State winner in the semis. So if Penn State beats Boise, I think whoever wins this game beats Penn State or Boise State in the semifinals. For me, it's Boise. For you, it's Penn State. But I think whoever wins this game is pretty much in the championship against Texas.
Yeah.
So for you, Oregon. For me, Texas. But yeah, I think the winner of this is probably going to be in the championship game. So there's a lot on the line.
I'll take Notre Dame over Georgia, 26-24.
I'm going to take Notre Dame over Georgia, 20-13 defensive game. And the Fighting Irish step up. But yeah, those are our college football picks in case we do not do a part 2 of Under the Bleachers before the bowl games next week, just as a precautionary measure. And if we do part 2, it will probably be on January 2nd or the week after, maybe the 8th, after I get back from my early birthday dinner at Red Lobster. My birthday's on the 10th, but only days my mom's available, because she has the same birthday as me, only day my mom is available to hang out or do other stuff is Wednesdays and Saturdays with her schedule. So, yeah. So we might go celebrate on the 8th, and then the semifinal games are on the 9th and 10th. So if we do not do a show on January 2nd after New Year's Day, we will probably do one on the 8th, because the 2 semifinal games are the 9th and 10th. And I'm guessing that would be part 2 of the college football playoff for Under the Bleachers. But it'll be one of those days. You can follow William, join his Facebook group Under the Bleachers to stay in touch with us on that. And yeah, Ord and I
Under the Bleachers and that other group, Pigskin Talk. That's a good one. That's a big group.
Scouting college football for poll questions on our pictures for the NFL predictions. But yeah, William's got to get somewhere. I'm going to sign off now and resume my game recaps, because I've only got 8 of the 16 done for week 16, and I've only got 12 games coded on the site for week 17. I've got the news ticker up, but I don't have all of the games updated at this time. So I'm going to handle that, and I'm going to let William do what he needs to take care of, and we'll see you guys later. Enjoy your week.
All right.
Merry Christmas. Holidays.
Happy holidays, all that good stuff.
Today's Festivus. Tomorrow's Christmas Eve, and Wednesday's Christmas. So happy Festivus from the rest of us here at Draft Utopia and Under the Bleachers. So long.